Sirbayor, Imam Michel Shanazayan, Yes Urahan Boris Arif and Violet Arsor, Desnegayat Selu, or Rakas and Gerfats Muta. Havadachan Showzut Yer Hardeli Mekan. Yegretso Hokebor Dekor, Hokabartuchan, Yer Dasyakan Hazakami Kopins, Bari Kaluska Mahtem Bolore. Նախքան մեր ծրագրի սկսելը մի քանի հայտարարություններ ունենք կատարելու։ Եթե մինչ այսօր ձեր էլեկտրոնային հասցեները, իմեյլները, տան հասցեները և հեռարձականի թվերը մեզ չեք հայտնած, խնդրում ենք այդ արձանագրել ձեզ փոխանցված թղթիկի վրա, որպեսզի մեր ապագա կազմակերպված ձեռնարկների մասին տեղեկություն ունենանք։ Եթե գալիք դասախոսական ձեռնարկների նյութերի մասին առաջարկներ ունենք, խնդրում եմ փոխանցել մեզ։ Յուրաքանչյուր ձեռնարկի համար հովանավորի պետք ունենք թեմփերի հայտարարության և հյուրասիրության ծախսերը հոգալու համար։ Եթե ցանկանում եք մեզ այս հարցում օժանդակել, խնդրում եմ մեզ հայտնել այդ աղբյուր։ Ցանկանում եք Crescenta հովիտի հայաստանյան առաքելական եկեղեցու հոգաբարձության և կազմակերպիչ հանձնախմբի կողմից խորին շնորհակալություններ հայտնել Տեր և Տիկին Հակոբ և Արփի Դավաղյաներին իրենց նվիրատվության այսօրվա միջոցառումների հյուրասիրության ծախսերը հոգալու համար։ Այսօր մեր հարգելի հյուր դասախոսներն են Glendale քաղաքի միացյալ կրթաշրջանի վարչության անդամ Krikoriանը և նրա պաշտոնակից Nahabediանը և նույն կրթաշրջանի ուսումնական հարցերի վերահսկիչ դոկտոր Katherine Fundukiանը։ Կրթական ասպարեզը կարևոր համարելով ցանկանում ենք ձեզ ներկայացնել այսօրվա քննարկման նյութը։ Glendale-ի հայ աշակերտության և ծնողների ընտրված կրթական արժեքները։ Մեր գալիք ապագա կազմակերպված ձեռնարկը լինելու է կիրակի հոկտեմբեր 30-ին 2011 թվականին, նյութը լինելով հայ մշակույթի ամիսը։ Ձեռնարկին իրենց մասնակցություն են բերելու Կալիֆորնիա հայ գրողների միության կազմակերպությունը։ Լինելու է և արվեստական բաժին, հրավիրված եք բոլորը։ Առաջ մեզ անգլերեն լեզվով պիտի ներկայացնեմ դասախոսության նյութի պարունակությունը և ապա ներկայացնեմ հարգելի հյուր դասախոսների կենսագրությունները։ Դասախոսության վերջավորության առիթ պիտի տրվի բոլորին իրենց հարցումները ուղղելու հարգելի հյուրերին։ Good afternoon. Honorary guests, Mr. Krikorian, Ms. Nahabedian, Dr. Katherine Fundukian, and dear participants. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Crescenta Valley Armenian Apostolic Church and the Church Educational Committee, I would like to welcome you all to a series of our public service programs entitled Educational Opportunities Available to Armenian American Students and Parents in the City of Glendale. We all know how important it is to have educational institutions which carry the task of educating our children and youth. We are fortunate that Armenian American children have the opportunity to attend schools and public schools. We are proud of the fact that our younger generation receives superb education in these educational institutions. We are also proud and pleased to see the public servants of Armenian American descent serve these educational establishments, especially in the city of Glendale, where 1/3 of the population are Armenian immigrants. The Glendale Unified School District offers a myriad of opportunities to learn, explore, and create through both curricular and co-curricular programs. Students learn to read, write, and speak Armenian from kindergarten through grade 12. They participate in nationally recognized robotics, music, dance, and art programs. As students prepare for the world of work through the many career and technical educational programs, they will also have opportunities to lead and contribute to their community. Parents also play an integral role in the achievement of their children. Parents want safe and secure schools for their children, an environment where their child will have every opportunity to learn, grow, and be successful. One of the vital pieces for student success is engaged and empowered parents and communities who confidently navigate the public education system in the United States. Information will be provided on the role of parents, community organizations, and the Board of Education in creating the best learning opportunity for each student. At this time, I would like to introduce to you a short biography of each of our honorary guest panelist speakers, after which I would welcome each to join the table. Each panelist will speak up to 15 minutes on the subject matter, and at the end of the program, the audience will be given the opportunity to ask questions. All panelists are welcome to respond or add comments to the given response to each question by any panelist. Ms. Nayiri Nahabedian is a committed community activist and education reformer. She has dedicated her personal and professional life to improving the lives of people and the community around her, and has cultivated a long history of leadership and service. She's an elected Board of Education member of the highly regarded Glendale Unified School District, where she helps lead the district with a $200 million operating budget, 2,800 employees, and 30 schools. In April, Ms. Nahabedian was re-elected to the Glendale Unified School District Board of Education with a significant margin of victory. Please welcome Ms. Nayiri Nahabedian to the panel table. Dr. Katherine Fundukian is Assistant Superintendent of the Educational Services with the Glendale Unified School District and has had a breadth of experience in the field of education. She has served as principal at Glendale High School, assistant principal at Diamond Bar High School in the Walnut Valley District, and has served as a grade level coordinator and as an English teacher. Please welcome Dr. Katherine Fundukian to the panel table. Mr. Krikorian is the immediate past president of the Glendale Unified School District Board of Education. He is serving his 10th year as a board member. Mr. Krikorian is a founder of Krikorian Marketing Group, a multi-service marketing firm specializing in government relations, crisis management, and community relations. In addition to his duties at KMG, Mr. Krikorian is also co-owner of Business Life and Senior Living magazines. As father of 5 children, 3 attending Glendale Public Schools and 2 who recently graduated and now are in college, Mr. Krikorian has been actively involved in various district and community organizations. Please welcome Mr. Krikorian to the panel. At this time, I would like to invite Ms. Nayiri Nahabedian to make a few opening remarks on behalf of the panel. Welcome.
Idem vor arans mikrofonova bilesfim paitskazem on behalf of the Board of Education of Glendale Unified School District, I really want to thank you for the opportunity for the 3 of us to be here today in order to share with you what we know about the terrific opportunities for students in Glendale Unified School District. Եվ ուզեմ նաև ասել շնորհավոր նախ առաջ Crescenta Valley հովիդին եւ նորընտյալ Տեր Հայրին, որը զուգադիպությամբ իմ մորս տասնգերը եղած է Հալեբ նախագծարանի տասնգեր եւ զարմանալի մեկ բան է, որ ասկայն դարիները վերջ եւ ասկայն հերու ապերու մեջ ետ իրար կդածեն եւ այսօր այս եկեղեցի մեջ ծեր հովիվն է հբարտությամբ է, որ մենք խոսենք, որպեսզի կարենանք տեղեկություն տալ եւ ավելի կարենանք հասկանալ դպրոցներու մասին։ Ուրեմն այսպիսով սկսենք եւ Dr. Fundukian-ը պիտի իր մասը ներկայացնի։
Welcome, thank you for joining us today. What we wanted to do is give a brief overview of what Glendale Unified School District is all about, who we are, and the opportunities that it provides, just as Nayiri mentioned earlier. The original slide had our school district name as well as our motto, preparing our students for their future. We worked together last year with staff members, of course our esteemed board, community members, parents, students, teachers, to develop a vision statement and a mission statement. In other words, philosophically, what do we believe, where should we be, and what should we be doing? So our vision, our students are creative, critical thinkers who act responsibly, communicate effectively, and apply knowledge in a diverse and ever-changing world. We recognize that the world is going to be a different place tomorrow than it is today, and certainly than it was yesterday. And our job is to ensure that our students are prepared with the tools of tomorrow, not from the tools that we learned yesterday. So, Meddes Lagana, Uni Ստեղծագործ աշակերտներ, որոնք գիտեն մտածել եւ արժևորել, ունին հասուն եւ պատասխանատու գործելակել, ճիշտ ձևով կարտահայտվին եւ իրեն սորվածը օգտագործեն ըստ բազմազան եւ մշտափոխող աշխարհի մեջ. Our mission, մեր առաքելությունը, to provide a high-quality education that addresses the unique potential of each student in a safe and engaging environment. Հայթայթել բարձր մշակույթի ուսում, որ նկատի կառնի յուրաքանչյուր աշակերտի կարողությունը, ապահով եւ գրավիչ մթնոլորտի մեջ. Our enrollment, we have about 26,000 students. Well, primary languages, Ntalabis, Ankla Hoseng, Pites, Yeresunamek Dobosa, Hayahose, Udami, Irens Hafsaran Neren, Neru Mech Nishadzen, Borduna Hayren Dukos. The population of Armenians is certainly greater. These are simply the ones who say that they speak Armenian at home. The next highest, I guess, would be Spanish with 14.6%. So it's a diverse community, and it provides the richness and the texture that we want in our schools. And this is a quick summary of how well our schools do, or how well our students do. It's called the Academic Performance Index, the API. And every spring, I think I see, well, no, I see some parents here, but I don't see a whole lot of kids there. But anyway, in the spring, you know, the kids take these tests. They're standardized tests, and they're in English, math, history, social science, all students grades 2 through 11. And they use this interesting formula to identify the performance indicator, how well schools or districts do. 800 is that threshold that identifies a high-performing school or a high-performing district. Our school district 5 years ago was at 807, and now is at 851. What we look at with that is to make sure that we are indeed moving in the right direction. So it's a growth model that we're looking at. If we had started at 850 and stayed at 850, it would indicate that we're really not doing anything to adjust instruction so that more students are successful. So what we want to see is that steady climb. And if you look at individual schools, you'll also see that as well. The steady climb. Sometimes there's a little dip, but nothing that would be worrisome, and certainly sometimes it just kind of adjusts itself. But as a district, again, with the whole, we're seeing steady, consistent growth. the administrative structure. At the very top are 5 elected individuals, 2 of whom sit behind me today. Their job is really to run the district, to be fiscally responsible, to ensure that the instruction and the curriculum is followed, and to make sure that the state of the district is strong. We're fortunate in that we have great stewards of our district so far. And their job is to hire a superintendent, the Suchma, who will oversee all the schools, and who in turn has 5 assistants who supervise different aspects of any organization. I think, as Michelle noted earlier, it's a budget of over $200 million with 2,800 employees and 26,000 students. So it's an organization, it's a business. And it's important to ensure that every aspect of this organization runs properly, so there's a head of each one. Human resources, special education. We have a deputy superintendent who also oversees education, educational services, that would be me, and business and financial services. That's operating in the finances of the district itself. So the schools, and again, Michelle mentioned there are 30 schools in the district, 30 schools, 30 principals, and the deputy superintendent and I supervise each of them. And so that's how we make sure that the district moves forward in terms of that academic performance and things. I think what I'd like to do is pass it on to my colleague, Nayiri, to talk about some of the opportunities for parents and students, actually for parents. What do you do in the district? And how can you get more information or more involved?
So Vahe, who is the chair of your education committee, is that right? Do I have that right? Yes. So he's been emailing the 3 of us nonstop for weeks, trying to get us to give him the things that he needs, like our bio and our abstracts. So during the time when I was asked by Vahe to write a short abstract about what you're going to say, and so it was a bit of a struggle because there's just so much to cover. There are so many pieces that I would like to communicate to you about our district. And let me stop for a moment and say, is anyone having trouble with English? Okay, so I just hung up with the superintendent when I was in the process of writing the short abstract that Vahe had asked. And I hung up with the superintendent having come to a conclusion, a positive conclusion, with a situation that was occurring with a particular parent and a child. So a week prior to solving this issue, I received a call from a mom who has a student in one of our elementary schools, and she also had a student who was 1 day apart from the day of entering kindergarten. 1 day. You know, there's a date of birth for entering kindergarten, and her child just missed that day, and her child was going to have to wait a whole school year to enter kindergarten. And so here I had a mom who was speaking to me in Armenian on the phone, not knowing what to do, and saying to me, and she calls me, you know, a few days before school starts, right? So I'm thinking, you know, why has the mom waited so long? And so I hear about it. So she explains to me that, you know, right before school ended, what had happened is that as she asked one of the school staff members about the policy, right? I have my daughter, this is her birthday. And so rightly she was told that she cannot start kindergarten because of the birthday. And so the mom, being a good mom and a good citizen, so she kind of, accepted the answer, and then summer came through, and during the summer she realized that her daughter, she was giving her those things that you buy at Barnes & Noble, and so she was doing work with her daughter, and she realized that her daughter can do kindergarten, that she was up for it, that she didn't want to wait a whole year for kindergarten. And so she happened to get my number from someone, and so she called me. And so what I do as a superintendent, as a board member, is to really then go to my superintendent. So using this particular example, I want to show to you kind of the steps that really work, and the steps that are more effective than other steps. So in this situation, when she comes straight to a board member, I went to the superintendent and I said, look, this is the situation. And so the superintendent said, with one day, there's flexibility. With one day, we can assess the child and we can see if she's ready, okay? And so that happened. The child was assessed in a matter of days, and she started kindergarten. And I was on the phone, with the superintendent, and 2 minutes later with the mom saying, okay, the mom has the child on her way to the assessment, and the child started kindergarten. And after talking to the mom, I was curious, because I'm always trying to learn, what helps parents? What is helpful to parents? And so what is helpful to parents? And I asked her how the process went. And so I'll tell you, we have some parents in our district who are very persistent and who will go to the top in a very upset way. And we have parents who follow protocol. What that means is they might talk to their teacher, and then they might talk to the principal, and then they might go up from that level. And then there are parents who really don't know the system, because a lot of us are new, right? And some parents who really just take the answer that they're first given and might not know that there are options or alternatives. And so with this parent who talked to a staff person, the principal herself said, to the mom, just if you had come and talked to me, we would have been able to figure it out. But the mom didn't know that she could do that was allowed, that was okay to do. And so one of the things that I keep telling parents is that you have a vital role in how it works for your child. And what that means is getting to know your teacher first, getting to know your principal next, getting to know, if you're at a high school level, your counselor next, and really establishing a relationship with these individual entities. And to find a balance between being an advocate for your daughter or your child or your son, and at the same time figuring out what the policy and procedures are that the district operates in. So it's not how to navigate that. And so when I wrote my 3 sentences and sent it to Vahe, it said something about how do parents navigate the GUSD system. That's an important piece. How do you do that? And so part of it is to day one, or in the very beginning. What I mean by day one is from the very beginning, is to really, especially at an elementary school level, it's easier to do because usually you have one teacher, is to really, for parents to make an appointment with the teacher and meet with them, and to have some one-on-one time with them before difficulties start. Another thing to do is to, again, get to make an appointment with the principal and get to know the principal and be able to see what you might want to get involved with. We have things like volunteering in the classroom. Parents can actually be in a child's classroom or another child's classroom and volunteer. You can volunteer. I had someone earlier today who was in the audience who said, can I volunteer in the classroom? She's not a mom at all, but we do have a process. She's not a mom in the district, but we do have a process of people volunteering. And so there is a protocol and a way to make that contribution as a parent or as a grandparent in the district. We also have parent-teachers associations. And parent-teachers associations, the meetings are in English. And so one of the things that sometimes happens is that parents who might not be very confident in their English language skills might shy away from being part of the Parent-Teacher Association. And so what I have seen personally is really a welcoming of different levels of English proficiency on the parents' side, so that if your level of proficiency in English is not perhaps high as a parent, there is still room for you in the classroom. There's still room for you in the Parents-Teacher Associations. And we also have at the schools something called School Site Council. School Site Councils are awesome because you really get to, as a parent, be able to be involved in helping determine priorities for the school, that particular school. It's called School Site Council. It's a council that gets together, a group, and talks about and prioritizes what the school might need. Don't you want to be on that? You know, that is a great way to make a contribution and to bring your wonderful ideas to the school itself. There's also something called ELAC, English Language Acquisition Committee. I think I have that right. Is that right? And so that is another way. That is a committee that most schools have, and some schools might not, and you might want to get involved on the district level, which is called DLAC. That is for policies and global issues related to students for whom English is not their first language. So there's a whole group of folks, parents, it is for parents who are interested in impacting and influencing and contributing to the discussions that are taking place about working with English language learners. So that's pretty cool to be able to know that you are welcomed in that kind of participation as well. And special education students, or there's also committees related to special education where parents can get involved as well. And so in terms of navigating the school district, what is key to know is you are very much a vital part of your child's education. You are as a parent and you are as a grandparent, so what is the contribution that you would like to be able to make, and how do you negotiate that, and how do you talk to school personnel about how can I help? These are the things that I can do, or this is my background. Now, I was a teacher at a private school, private Armenian school. Now I'd like to volunteer. You know, how do you do that? That's a real example, for example. You know, how do I do that? And finding places to do that. Let's see, in terms of the time that I have, the other piece is it is really key to keep in your students or your child's life as they are moving in the stages of development, meaning middle school and high school. Even in high school, we encourage parents absolutely to keep involved and to meet the counselor with the student so that you are aware of the classes your child is taking and you're aware of where they are headed. What path are they on? Path to college, path to career, what path are they on? And so I'm seeing my time, so I will stop there, and we are going to take questions afterwards, so we'd be happy to do that. I know there's a question there. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to cover a couple things for you, too. Looking back, as they introduced me 10 years ago, I was first elected to the Glendale Board of Education. It was an exciting moment for all of us, especially being the first Armenian American ever elected to the Glendale Board of Education and serving our children. And I couldn't have done that without your help and your children's help. They walked the streets for me, they helped get the word out. And it was important because we look what's in Glendale. We are the largest school district in the world outside of Armenia with Armenian kids. We have 10,000 Armenian students in our school district, made up of so many different cultures, made up of so many different parties and different beliefs and different cultures from either Barska High, High Stancy, America High, Beruta High. It goes on, and it's a big challenge in our district. And when I first came in the district, there was a lot of forms of racism, a lot of forms. And that's a challenge that's going to be ongoing for us. There's a lot of accomplishments we have made, some big accomplishments. As you saw the district and you saw the numbers and all these different things, those are important. Being a parent and investing in our public schools, that's important. But as an Armenian American, I look at a couple things. There's two of us. I know myself, I'm a former alumni of the Armenian Youth Federation, AYF. And I know Kathy Fundukian was an AYF member too at one time. And AYF has installed a lot of values into us about passion, keeping the heritage alive. Even when Krikorian first formed it for us in America was basically giving Armenians a chance to fight assimilation in a good balanced way while staying American, which is vital to us. And one of the things that we were able to do as a board, which I'm very proud of, is that it helps the church and gives recognition to all of us, is January 6th. We are the only school district, a public school district, that closes for Armenian Christmas. And that was a hard feat. I recall the emails and the threats I received. We'll never vote for you again if you do this. We're not going to support you if you do this. But you know what? We have 10,000 kids not going to school that day, on a day of Christmas for our community. And we closed the schools. And it's something that the board and the team, the district, the staff came together and did that. There's a lot of other exciting things we did. We added Armenian language in a lot of our high schools. One of our big goals, which I'd love to do, I know Nayiri would support this, and so would Dr. Tarosian, would be adding Armenian language as an elective at CV High School. We have it as an extra class after school, but during the class day. You know, I recall visiting Glendale High School now. We have Armenian language offered there, where Dr. Tarosian was a principal there. Ms. Hadikin's the teacher there. And one day I was walking like 5, 6 years ago, when my second term, I was walking on, and I was so excited we got that done. We added Armenian language as an elective. So now the kids in high school can take French, Spanish, or Armenian language in high school. And that's awesome. And when I walked in the classroom, I was actually I remember Dr. Tarosian, at the time she was the principal, and I went to go see Ms. Hadikin. I walked in there and I saw them learning the national anthems. And I looked on the wall and it was St. Barnabas. And it's an avenue for us as an Armenian American community. We don't want the kids to lose. One thing I lost as a kid growing up, being a third generation, second generation Armenian American, was a language. It's very difficult, and I've been trying to grasp it. But if we can give our students a chance to learn the Armenian language in so many ways, it's a great thing for us in history. As we look at what the Turkish government's doing to us today, by destroying our history, destroying our Kachkars, holding our land hostage, which they are, because Western Armenia is still our land, being a carpet sea. There's a lot of things that we still have to fight for. And we have to equip our children with the education and the tools to be successful. Our goal, being a parent, not only being a board member, I have 5 children of my own. One of the goals I have is to help elevate our kids to become successful for that one day we're going to be successful with our justice. One day that one girl or that one boy is going to make a difference for us. We all believe in God. And we all believe in hope. And what I tell the students now is, you know what? When we believe in hope, we're one day closer to getting our land back. Every day goes by, we're one day closer. And the things that we've done now what's happening now is the Turkish student associations across the United States are forming. They're combating our textbooks. There's a lot of things that are going on that we as a community aren't fully aware of. In Massachusetts, there's a big ordeal going on with it. We had some challenges here because in Long Beach, California, there's a Turkish Student Association which are putting heat on us. I know Steve Today and a few of the guys who work with the textbooks to add in the Preston books now, there's actually a question as a section for Armenian genocide. Armenian genocide is taught in the 10th grade class. correct? World history class? World history class. So now we converted to textbooks. These are things that we care about as parents too. Besides our children getting a good education, which Nayiri mentioned to you before, and parents' rights. But being in America High, there's different responsibilities we have for our kids, of not losing what we sacrificed to get to this point. We are working with the student associations in many different things. Just recently, we just added R.D. White, I think, as a dual language magnet program. These are elementary schools now. We have 2 of them. Jefferson Elementary School and R.D. White. These are fully immersion Armenian language programs. So children in kindergarten can start, it's all them, to be honest. It's us, Miss Belger, Miss Wagner, Christine Walters, and Nayiri Nahabedian, and Chakib Sambar and Pam Ellis were on the board at the time, helped us get these things done. But that's important. So now children can go to school and do that. You know, I told everyone, I'll make this a very quick story. It was 1980. I remember I was in Hartford, Connecticut. Some of you might have recalled this story. I was in Hartford, Connecticut, and I was in high school. I was a junior, senior, and I was getting called into the principal's office. I was the only Armenian kid in school. No other Armenians in school other than my brothers. And, you know, I got a call into the principal's office, and all my buddies are teasing me. Oh, you're in trouble now, Greg. And I'm going down there. I go down to the principal's office, and I see this kid sitting down, and I look over at the principal. I says, what happened? What did I do? She says, we need your help. I said, what? This is Eddie Gabrielian, and we need your help to translate for us. And, you know, and I looked over, and he just came over from Iran because the collapse of Shaw and all that. And we started talking, said a few words, but you know what? That night, you know where I ended up? His house for dinner. His families, we all got together. And it shows what bond we have as a community. At the end of the day, we're here to represent the 30, 27, 28,000 kids. No question. Each one of them. Every child, we want them to be successful. But going to some of the big challenges we have in the school district now is funding, lack of funding in our schools. There's a challenge with us getting by and doing these programs that we do. So when we look at the different things we have offered for Armenian kids and for all students, the opportunities are there. There's challenges that come with it. There's also societal changes that come with it. There's drugs nowadays which are more aggressive. TV, being a parent, you flip on TV and Jersey Shore's on, MTV's on. The stuff that they're showing on TV, it's a challenge. So now these kids are being trained with these TV stations and the internet, non-stop, that is being confronted with the teachers now, because now it's being thrown onto them, because these kids are coming in with that mindset. So there's so many different challenges we have. The one challenge that I have too is with the kids is the racing in their cars and driving. I remember I've been to far too many tragedies of our kids in our schools that it's heartbreaking to me. I've been to the hospital probably about 7 times since I've been on Board of Education to actually go visit the family and be with the kids. And because when we lose one, we all lose one. And people don't understand in the American community that why we have so many hortkuts and aunts and uncles, because we're all one community after what we went through. People can't comprehend our bond. They can't understand our bond. They try to, but they don't understand at the end of the day, no matter what, we may be different in some ways, but we are one in a lot of ways. And one of the things, my job I do that I take pride in is giving your kids and your grandkids the hope and the pride and the knowledge to keep our heritage alive. Because once that goes, then we've lost everything. I don't care if your child becomes the best mechanic or becomes a doctor or becomes a gardener. As long as they become a good father, good mother, good sister-in-law, good American Armenian, and gives back to our cause, we've done a lot of success. And it's the most exciting thing. What's really exciting and emotional sometimes is you look at the numbers. Dr. Tarosian's high school, where she worked at, Glendale High School, is the largest high school in the world, I would say, outside of Armenia. Of Armenian students in one high school, 2,000, correct? Close to it?
Of
Armenian descent, 1,800, 2,000, close to it. In one school, in one location. But look at the AYF members. We need to get these kids involved in organizations. We need to get them involved. And right now we're working with AYF. They're doing leadership days for our kids to educate them. I'm not saying we have a lot of challenges and things we could do better in the district. There's many things we could do better. There's many things that we can do better, but one of the things that we all have done, and I'll attest for all three of us and my colleagues, is we've been fair with all cultures. And the Armenian kids, there's a lot of things, with Armenian American students, there's a lot of good chances for them. A lot of exciting things we added. We added the vocational training programs and different things like that. We added a fire academy for our kids. We're adding a digital arts academy with the DreamWorks, or Disney's doing that. Disney at Glendale High School is doing it. We just passed a major bond that's going to put some big funds in there for our kids. But it doesn't prevent the other issue that happens to your kids. And what Nayiri was talking about before is get involved. If there's a situation with a challenge with a teacher or a principal or an administrator, just don't, I appreciate you do come to us, but I'm going to redirect you back to the teacher or the principal. Try that course first. You know, my grandmother always said always had this line, you get more bees with honey. You know, and I know sometimes you got to carry it. You have to be forceful and fight for your kids' rights, but sometimes you got to be jarvik about it, how you do things. I'm going to go on to, at least we can go into question and answers and maybe jump right into that, which will help you guys, and I'll go sit down and be able to answer things. I wanted to cover the component of what's happening to Armenian American kids and some of the things that are going on, but then we'll all be here to answer questions. Thank you.